And welcome to Las Vegas and the Consumer Electronics Show 2012. Every year, about 140,000 people and 3,000 companies, large and small, attend this show to look at the latest and newest in electronics. For the next several weeks on the Communicators, we're going to show you some of the interviews that we did. We talked with policymakers, and we also looked at some of the new developing technology that's out there. First up, we're going to start off this week with our interview with Gary Shapiro, who is President and CEO of the Consumer Electronics Association. So Gary Shapiro, as the 2012 Consumer Electronics Show draws to a close, give us a snapshot of what happened here this week.
Well, this, I think, was our most phenomenal event ever, and it kicks the year off really well. It gives hope about growth through innovation. Look, we had over 3,200 companies here and over 1.85 million net square feet of exhibit space. That's well over 30 football fields. And about 20,000 new products were introduced. We have 80% of these companies are small businesses, they're entrepreneurs, and that's what this show is designed for. Anyone with a good idea to expose it to about 150,000 people from around the world. So what we're seeing is the fact that we're still at this toddler stage of innovation, of digital technology. And there's all sorts of solutions that affect our healthcare, our education, our daily living, our entertainment, our information. And these products basically allow almost anyone in the world to be, in a sense, live with richer information than the richest person could have 20 years ago.
Now, one of the themes here at the show has been connectivity.
Absolutely. Over half the television sets sold in the United States this year will be connected to the internet. That's just television, of course, with our smartphones, with our tablets, and at this show, as we saw with a couple of introductions, with our cars, we will always be on and connected, and that connection and the smart devices will increasingly be customized to what we want. The devices will learn our needs. Our homes will control around us. Our environment will be shaped by us. We'll communicate better. The devices will start talking to each other. It's all good and it's all coming.
Now, Gary Shapiro, do you encourage lawmakers to come out here and policymakers to come out here and see these products? And what do you hope they bring back with them?
We want as many lawmakers as possible and Washington types, and actually policymakers from around the world come here, because there's two types of people. There are people who've been to the CES and they experience innovation and the excitement and the growth and the potential and the need to regulate sometimes, to be careful not to choke off innovation, and then there are those who have not. And this show is like ice cream. You know, you could describe ice cream, but you have to taste it, feel it, sense it yourself to really understand what the potential is for mankind in a very, very positive way.
In a speech this week to tech leaders that you made, you said that it's the job of these companies here at the Consumer Electronics Show to invent the products. It's the policymakers' job to encourage the growth of those products.
Well, certainly the policymakers have to have any country, they always want to know how to be the best growing, the most innovative. They all want what actually the U.S. has, which is tremendous innovation. And what you need is a great educational system. That's certainly, to me, a major role of government. Of course, with parents, we need an infrastructure. We need broadband desperately, because almost all these devices assume the fact that there'll be ubiquitous wireless broadband. And that's a great role for government. You need free trade. And we need to do what we've done before, which is attract the best and the brightest people to the United States. All those are great roles from government. What we try to avoid as an industry is saying, government, here are the winners, here are the losers, you choose. I think the consumers do that, the businesses risk the money, and they do that really well.
Out in the grand lobby here at the Convention Center, CEA has set up the Declaration of Innovation. What is that? And there's a picture of Thomas Jefferson holding your book, The Comeback.
Shameless promotion. Actually, we have something called the innovation movement, and it's based upon this premise. Almost every developed government is struggling now with finances. And you can raise taxes, cut spending, or grow. Growth comes from innovation. Innovation is who we are as Americans. It's what we're great at. It's our First Amendment. It's our culture. It's the fact that we're the most diverse people in the world, essentially, and new ideas are encouraged here. We challenge the status quo. So we're saying, as a national policy, let's be the innovators. Let's do the right thing, which keep that going for the next generation. Let's make sure our educational system, our free market system, our science, let's encourage innovation. We're the leader in almost every internet company. Let's continue to spread that out through bio, our culture, and everything else we do. And we'll continue to give our kids the country that we had in terms of a better life.
You held a panel session, Mr. Shapiro, with FCC Chairman Jedikowski. What did you learn from him?
Well, he's very focused, as he should be, on the very far future, that we're running out of wireless spectrum that we need for innovation in the future. And he's focused laser-like on trying to get what is now bipartisan legislation, which just says, broadcasters, you have a lot of spectrum, you're not really using it all, not that many people using it. Why not auction it off through the government to people who will use it for wireless broadband? So all these tablets, which use 120 times the bandwidth of the old phones, or smartphones, which use 25 times the data, they need the spectrum. Everyone will win. New jobs will be created. New products will be launched. People will have access to full motion video and education. That's what we have to do. And our government is there. The president, the Congress, they just have to get it through as a law.
What about the use of unlicensed spectrum?
You know, that's a little more controversial. We believe unlicensed spectrum is good. That's spectrum which is not licensed to anyone. It doesn't produce money to government, but it's a free market. It's what allows our cordless telephones, our baby monitors, our garage door openers. Where would we be without those? Devices that we don't even know what they are and people use it. That's what really Wi-Fi is about. It's unlicensed spectrum. So we need more of that. The sad thing is just that can't be sold by definition because no one owns it except the public. And the way it works, the devices have to respect each other.
There are a couple bills in Congress right now dealing with piracy. Where does the CEA stand on those bills? SOPA and IPA or PIPA?
PIPA and the Open Act. Well, certainly we agree that this piracy is hurting American businesses. They're hurting trademark owners, copyright owners, and we have to shut down these websites. Where there's disagreement as to how that's done. A couple of the proposals which are moving rather rapidly basically would mess with the internet itself. They'd create so anyone could shut down a website without going through a government process. And we're very scared of them, as is frankly a large portion of the public. And far-right groups like certainly the Tea Party and far-left groups like the MoveOn.org are actually gathered together around saying, hey, these bills aren't good. What we think is a better way is to use the International Trade Commission. Senator Wyden and Congressman Issa have proposed that approach, and that's what we're pushing.
Gary Shapiro, speaking of the international aspect, first of all, if you would talk about the international aspect of the show, how many visitors from out of the country attend here, and are those piracy bills something that people care about beyond the U.S. borders?
Well, everyone looks to what the U.S. does in terms of their policies. So we are a leader, and it's very important what we do. And of course, this is about us regulating international websites as well, so we have to be careful. We have about 30 to 35,000 international visitors come to the show. It's a great source of income to the United States. We have these people spending their hard-earned money to stay in Las Vegas hotels. They probably gamble some, they eat here, and it's a great thing. We have to encourage more visitors to the United States, and we have so many government officials as well. So they're looking at what we're doing, and it's also something as a matter of national policy it's good to encourage, is people to come to the U.S. and see what we're doing, see our culture, get to know us, and that should be, in my view, a major policy of our government, which it increasingly is. Let it be easier for people to come here, the visa process, everything else. The truth is we'd have more people if we made it a little bit easier, if our visa process was better. And I know the Travel Association is working very hard to change those laws and to make it easier.
When do you start planning for this show?
Well, frankly, I'm spending a lot of time focusing on 2013 and 2014. We could tell you the dates of our show through about 2030. Because this is a simultaneous equation with the Convention Center, the Sands, the Venetian, about 20, 25 hotels, and we have to block out a lot of space for the long term to make sure we could make this work in a way that's comfortable for every guest that invests their time and money to come here. It's not open to consumers, so when you have 6,000 media among 150,000 visitors, you better take care of them and make sure it's a comfortable show with buses and transportation and everything working as it should.
Is there any specific device or innovation that you saw this year that really caught your eye?
Well, I'm excited about so many things, whether it's the better connected TV sets, the 4K, 4 times the resolution of HD, or the tablets that are doing so many things, or the increasing wireless. Automobile really is changing dramatically. It's getting safer and soon it'll be driverless. Robotics is huge. And we have a lot of technology that's being introduced rather quickly which deals with healthcare and physical fitness because the doctor population is pretty stable and we're all getting older and healthcare costs are going up. I think technology provides a lot of the solutions.
One of the issues, one of the side issues of all this electronics is electronic waste. What do we do with it?
Well, first of all, I have to say we're the greenest show. As recognized independently by Trade Show Executive Magazine. And this year, the badge holders actually are made from recycled materials from our last year's show. But what we're doing is recycling waste. Our industry, the major companies, have what we call the £1 billion challenge. And that is to triple the amount of recycling. All the major electronics companies have agreed on this, to triple the amount of recycled product in the next 5 years to £1 billion.
Gary Shapiro is president and CEO of the Consumer Electronics Association, which sponsors the Consumer Electronics Show. The Consumer Electronics Association sponsors this annual trade show in Las Vegas. Well, Microsoft has one of the larger presence at the Consumer Electronics Show, and we visited with them about why they are not attending next year. Craig Beilinson of Microsoft here at the Consumer Electronics Show. Why has Microsoft made the decision not to return to this show?
Well, we love the Consumer Electronics Association, we love CES, and we will actually continue to be here for a variety of different reasons. We'll have hundreds of people here meeting with our OEM partners, people that make PCs, our retail partners, people that make phones. So we'll continue to be here with quite a presence. Having said that, we're not going to have a keynote going forward in future years. The timing of CES does make it a little tough to make big unveil product announcements. We want to make sure that when we have something to say, it's at the right time of year when we're ready to say it. So we'll continue to have a major presence at CES. We love being here at CES. It's just that relationship is just going to evolve a bit, and we look forward to being here in years coming.
Do you foresee perchance some Seattle-based shows such as Apple does in San Francisco?
We do think that we have the opportunity to talk to consumers in all different ways, whether it's our Facebook page, our Twitter page, Microsoft.com, everything that we're doing with digital, and now with our retail stores, we have more and more of an opportunity to talk to consumers every day. So now that we'll do this show differently, we'll look at all the different variety of ways that we get to talk to consumers. It could be Seattle, it could be East Coast, West Coast, London, around the world. We're constantly looking at evolving how we market and how we talk to consumers.
What does it take to put on a display like you have here at CES this year? Is it a year-long event?
It is. It's a multi-year process. We take advantage of the latest technology to put the booth together. Certainly an extensive amount of work both to put the booth together as well as to construct the keynote and figure out what stories we want to tell at the right time in the right place. We had a great show this week as Ryan Seacrest was generous enough to host with Steve Ballmer and help us tell a great story. And CES is always a lot of fun.
Craig Beilinson of Microsoft, thank you.
Thank you.
And while visiting the Microsoft booth, we also caught up with Government Affairs Committee Chairman Representative Darrell Issa, Republican of California, who has attended the show for over 30 years. He was given a tour by Microsoft of some of their newest technology.
Obviously, you're launching a brand new phone on a brand new platform. Tell me why this software, after Microsoft's several previous mobile apps, why this software is different.
Well, with Windows Phone, we really do think that we take a different approach than what the competition is doing. I think if you put some other phones side by side, you'll just see really a sea of apps.
But when you say Windows Phone, this is a Nokia phone using Windows software. So it's different than the iPhone, which is hardware and software from one vendor.
That's exactly right.
You've got multiple partners in this?
Just like the Windows platform, where you can buy a Dell PC, you can buy an Acer PC, a Samsung PC, the phone follows a very similar model. We have several Nokia phones. I saw
you have an HTC.
We have an HTC. We even have...
So they're doing Droid and Microsoft now.
Oh, many partners work with many software vendors, absolutely. This is the HTC Titan 2, just a huge, beautiful screen. The thing that I love about this phone particularly...
That's like a 4x3 screen. It's a big screen.
And a 16 megapixel camera. I mean, certainly...
and again, an HTC.
This is right. This is the brand new HTC that we just announced.
Now,
Having that kind of camera
that's a larger form factor than the other HTC that I've seen using the other software. So, is the screen different?
The screen is a larger size, tremendous revolution. What we really believe at Microsoft is one size doesn't fit all. Mm-hmm. Some people like a white phone with curves and it's smaller. Some people like something a little larger with an excellent camera on the back.
You know, at my age, I like larger.
The big numbers, the big tiles. That is actually something with our new Metro style interface. You can see I'm scrolling up and down. You can do the same on yours. We're bringing this experience across Windows with Windows 8, across Xbox, and certainly the phone. It's like a dashboard to my whole life. Everything that I bring, everything that's important.
Well, I was just finding out what the weather was in Tokyo.
It actually can tell you what the weather is here in Vegas as well. When I get new email, those numbers change. When I get a tweet from my friends or my family.
So this does integrate the social network apps.
Oh my gosh. But we actually think about it a different way. Not only is it integrated with Facebook and Twitter and all the social media apps, it actually puts people first. So I don't have to think anymore, oh, should I Facebook that person? Should I tweet that person? I can just go to any of the contacts that I have, and it keeps track of all their social media for me. It just finds them, whether they're on Facebook or Twitter, or maybe you might actually want to make a phone call.
So you pick your friends and then pick how you want to contact.
That's exactly right. It integrates from across all your social networks.
Now I got to ask the important question.
Sure.
Your software, these are quad processors probably. What kind of battery life should we expect? That's always the question with a PC-based sort of a phone.
That's a great question. We shoot for having a full day of battery life with regular usage. We do anticipate people plugging in their phone at night and recharging.
So you're looking for a 24-hour window and this is in a 4G phone?
In a 4G, not quite LTE yet for that kind of battery life.
Right.
We're obviously working on that. But one of the things that we find is, it's a constant trade-off. When you have live immersive experiences pulling from data networks all the time, it's hitting battery all the time. So we are constantly working to make sure we find that right balance of the experience and
obviously displays consume power, and you're not in control of how they essentially get more light with less power.
Certainly do, but we work very closely with the HTCs and Nokias of the world to make sure that we set a minimum bar and that the experiences that our consumers get on our phones are second to none.
I saw it has auto dim, so it does go to a 2-phase shutdown, so it does reduce power pretty quickly.
That's exactly right, and you can set the timing on that. So go to auto dim and then kind of go to sleep. And if something does go to sleep, certainly with just a swipe of the finger, very easy to get back in.
Okay, well when I come to the show, I want to see as many things as I can.
Let's do that.
Phone's one thing, what else can you show me?
Well, obviously when you think about Microsoft, you think about Windows. We have a variety of laptops over here. We've announced a few Ultrabooks.
This is all Windows 7 platform.
This is Windows 7. Certainly people are excited about Windows 8. And the best way to get ready for Windows 8 is to get a Windows 7 PC today. Every Windows 7...
It's an upgrade included?
Every Windows 7 PC will be able to run Windows 8. So starting this February, we have our next preview, our next beta, and everyone who runs...
So Windows 8 will will not be backward compatible to, let's say, a 3-year-old computer?
Well, anything that's running Windows 7 today. So I got to do the math on
So it's a 64-bit operating system.
And 32, 64 supported, absolutely. Anything.
Will it come as native? 7 comes 32 and you got to get 64. How are you going to deal with the apps? Because when I first got and installed my Windows 7 as 64, there wasn't a lot of support for it. I had a lot of 32s that wouldn't run right. What's going to be different in Windows 8?
Well, certainly time has gone by since the launch of Windows
7.
More 64-bit apps and certainly improved support of 32-bit applications as well. Windows 8 will be a similar scenario where you'll have, it'll take advantage of the fact that people have been developing both 32-bit and 64-bit applications for so long that they know how to run in those scenarios. But what we're excited about is people can buy amazing Windows 7 PCs today. I mean, I don't know if you can see how thin this is. It's 3 millimeters over here, 9 millimeters over here. Tremendous work from Asus.
Is it USB 3.0? I'm just kidding. I'm sure it is at this point.
I'm sure it is at this point.
But no, this is wonderful.
Amazing battery
USBs.
life these days. Certainly for someone on the go looking for something sleek and thin and beautiful, the Asus is a great
The problem is
choice.
you got to get the little HDMI. This is not the one that plugs in your TV, so you do have to have the adapter. But
you always have to have the right adapter.
But well, everything's becoming mini, but this is really an amazing box. I've looked at some of their other products, and obviously they're becoming a major player in both your operating platform and some of the other mobile platforms.
And others, and we're excited about that opportunity, certainly when you think about mobile and tablets when you move to Windows 8.
Now with their tablet, is there going to be a mobile app for the tablet that's going to be transparent? Because right now your major competitor has a tablet and a phone.
Yep.
This company makes tablets and phones too. What's going to happen if I've got one of your new Microsoft phones? What's the integration between either a tablet or a PC with my phone?
The amazing thing about the phone that we just saw is that it's integrated with I kind of talked about people and Facebook and Twitter and social networks. It's also integrated with all the, let's say, Microsoft properties that you're aware of already. So Office is just built in. Bing.
Yeah, but I got to ask you the hard question.
Sure.
What's its equivalent to iCloud going to be? How are we going to look at a connected world in which I've got a PC running Windows on my desktop in my district office? I've got another one at one of my businesses. I've got another one in Congress, and of course I've got multiple phones. And tablets.
That's exactly right.
How's it going to work?
With the phone, thanks to Windows Live and SkyDrive and what we do with Windows, it's all just connected. So the documents that you, let's say, create on the phone, they sync up to the cloud, and they're certainly accessible.
So Windows
from Windows
Live
7.
is going to generally be
Windows 7 already. Windows Live already does sync anything that you need across the cloud. That's been going on for some time.
With 5 gig of free storage to start.
That's right. And with Windows 8, it even gets better. If you download an application on one Windows 8 PC, it's ready for you on another Windows 8 PC.
That's great.
So you'll see more and more of that cloud sync in the future.
So it'll save you essentially multiple installs.
That's right. And just the apps will be waiting for you when you're ready. The other type of integration, not just for getting the stuff where I need it, is in the look and feel. You notice that Metro style look and feel on the phone. I don't know how much how much time you spend with Xbox and Xbox Live.
I'm more of a TiVo at 11 o'clock at night for the TV show I didn't get.
That's right.
My son is a big Xbox guy. Every once in a while we'll do something, back and forth, but that's one of the things I'm looking forward to retirement for.
Well, across the phone, across Xbox, and across Windows 8, the same look and feel is going to be across the board, so it'll be very easy for people to pick up.
So basically, we're training our 2-year-olds on how to run their PC by giving them an Xbox.
That's right. Well, look, my kids, they get up in front of the Kinect, all we've done with natural user interface, and they don't even think twice about it. They get that the sensor sees them, hears them, they can talk to their Xbox, and they don't really think twice about the fact that it's actually responding to them.
Now, I know we're running out of time, but connected television. One of the things I'm going to look at while I'm here is sort of the next generation, because I'm not a fan of 3D TV, but the fact that the internet connection is becoming something meaningful on the back of a TV. What do you have here?
Well, what we find is that Xbox certainly has come so much farther than just gaming. It's the entertainment hub in the living room.
So it's really going to be part of connecting your connected television.
Oh, with what Xbox Live brings, movies, TV, games, music, anything you're looking for from an entertainment standpoint. The real problem was how to find everything. I mean, we could have Netflix and Hulu and HBO and everything plugged in and all the apps that we want, but it's too hard to find everything. Now with Connect, you can just say Xbox, Bing, Star Trek, Xbox, Bing, Harry Potter. It goes across everything we can access.
Which generation Star Trek though?
Whatever you say, we'll go find it. It literally will go bring back all of them. So instead of...
So a lot of voice command is going to be in that interface.
That's right. Part of natural user interface is working with the technology that makes the most sense to you and breaking down those barriers between you and technology. Maybe it's gesture, maybe it's touch on a phone, or maybe it's voice and just talking to your television. We want to make it as easy as possible.
Well, that's great. I have to tell you, I've got to move on because I've got to go find the next Microsoft, the guy who came here in his car with a fold-up booth. And I want to go see who's going to be you guys in another 20 years.
Well, when you meet that guy, let us know.
I sure will.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Chairman Issa, you have kind of a unique perspective on the Consumer Electronics Show. Tell us about your dual role as a policymaker as well as a tech guy.
Well, the important thing is I have a love for this industry. I came out of the consumer electronics industry. The connected world is something that I had a small role in, but I've continued to try to stay in touch with. This is my 30th return to this show. The first time I came to the Consumer Electronics Show, I came in a 30-year ago Dodge Omni with a fold-up booth in the back, and I backed up to the dock and the guy said, "You can't park here." I said, "I'm unloading." And the company grew from 0 to 100 million because of the ability to reach both domestic and international customers at a place like this very efficiently. Today, I've moved on to Congress, but I realize that if you want to find the companies of tomorrow, the big companies tomorrow, you've got to create an opportunity in the internet, in innovation, in tax policy, in openness of regulations. You've got to create that by coming to places like this and looking not just at the big companies who all have lobbyists in Washington, but find some of the small companies, say, what are your problems? What is stopping innovation? What do you need to create jobs? So it's a pleasure to come back, even though I'm now a decade removed from chairing this association.
Well, as chairman of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee in the House of Representatives, how can you help get these companies started?
We have a combination. First of all, open government helps people not make mistakes, and that's a big part of the mandate of government oversight, is that we're the government ops. How do we open up the process? Secondly, and because ultimately bad regulations usually come from a lack of good information or lack of good input. At the same time, my view is that whether it's in patent reform or it's in internet activity, the SOPA bill that we're working versus open right now, that I want to make sure that I maintain good contacts with a broad array of people in technology so that I can kind of bring some of that back and help open the dialogue. But when it comes to government oversight, the other advantage we have is we can look at a problem that transmits itself over all the committees of Congress, and we can do legislation or oversight where we make people aware of it. It's kind of a unique opportunity where we're not pigeonholed into one part of the law.
And finally, Congressman Issa, the piracy legislation that's in committee still in the Congresses, do you see action taking place on that?
I do. I see that before the end of this Congress, we need to have members of Congress understand the scope of the problem of piracy, the history of how you stop piracy, basically follow the money, shut down the money or the advertising trail, and then make a decision on what court structure would be the best, whether it's the International Trade Commission, which is an administrative law judges, or as SOPA suggests, federal courts, or some third entity. And I think that lively debate is something that we focused on here. It's one of the reasons I thought coming to this show a 30th time was important, but also the other members that were here with me from Energy and Commerce and so on, and Senator Wyden, get us here, then get us back in Congress talking about how we do no harm to the internet, but in fact help protect intellectual property, probably the most important asset the developed world and the United States has.
Darrell Issa is chairman of the Oversight and Government Reform Committee. He joins us at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas.
Thank you.
The Communicators attended the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas in January. For the next several weeks, we'll be showing you these interviews as well as some of the latest technology. Our website, cspan.org/communicators.